Hey there and welcome to the weeblounge. Once again, I am Nick, and Divine Amulets are a very rare currency. You only get them whenever you pull a double in a gacha or during special events. So you need to spend these things wisely, and I'm going to show you how. Alright guys, now Divine Amulets can be used to purchase memory shards. Memory shards is how you get your characters leveled up in star level, take it from a 1-star to a 2-star, 3 to 4, and even eventually helps you get to that lucrative 6-star that's way out there in the future. Now, everybody's loadout's a little bit different. So I can't just make a list and say, hey, here's a blanket list of where you should focus, because your loadout's different from mine. Unless you whale and you get every single character, then maybe I could make a list that way, but everybody's needs are different, and that's what I'm trying to say. So when you spend these Divine Amulets, the key component to spending them is looking forward into the future. Assume that you're going to be playing this game for the long haul. You're going to be playing for a while, and you want to build the most powerful characters possible. So you need to take that into effect along with your own needs. Now, let's take a look at what I did. For my characters, I really didn't get all that much on global. Now, over on JP, I'm max level, max all kind of crazy and everything, but this is global. This is going to be fresh. It's going to be new. Doesn't matter if you whale or not. And you need to pick which character suits you. Now, one character that a lot of people would probably recommend against is actually Miyako. Miyako is arguably the absolute best tank in the game early on, when everything starts. Now, in the long term, not so much. Miyako's kind of thrown over to PvP, but we're talking, a year plus down the line over on the JP side. For global, though, she is really good tank, and she starts out at 2 stars. So in my need, what I needed a really solid tank. I didn't have a 3-star tank. Wasn't lucky enough to get Nozomi, so I needed to do something to get Miyako. Now, Miyako's Divine Amulets do show up in the Princess Arena, and I would actually argue that anything listed in the Princess Arena, the regular arena, and especially the dungeon coins, be really sparse on if you're going to use any of those Divine Amulets. Now, I used mine on Miyako to get her from a 2-star to a 3-star, which took a total of 80 memory shards, and it wasn't terribly cheap to do so with my Divine Amulets. But I really needed a tank, and she's really good in PvP as well, so that's actually one of the characters that, you can bend the rules a little bit for, and I would go ahead and do that. Now, Arena, you can basically make 1 purchase a day, give or take. Same thing goes with Princess Arena when I get it opened up. Dungeon coins, any character that is listed in the dungeon coin thing here, do not spend Divine Fragments on. Divine Amulets, I mean. I keep calling them fragments. Because these memory shards, you're going to start getting them left and right. This is the easiest ones to get. And in this, see, Carol, Yukari, Akari, Kuka, Mitsuki, Maho, Nozomi. Do not spend Divine Amulets on those characters. You're just, in the long term, you're just wasting them. You really are just wasting them. Now, in my case, for Miyako, I needed a really solid tank. Miyako's arguably one of the best tanks. Taking her from 2 to 3-star did make a rather significant difference, surprisingly. So that was definitely one that I wanted to do. But there's a lot of other characters that it's like, well, should I do it? Should I not? All right, let's just take a look at some of the 3-star characters really quick. Let's take Io. Io here, do you want to spend Divine Amulets on? No, she's a PvP character. She eventually goes to the back of the line over there. Akino, this is a pretty good character, and if you want to push her, you can. And then you got Anna, you got Maho, all these characters, all these 3-star characters, almost all the 3-star characters, it's really worth putting your Divine Amulets into. However, if you're thinking long term, Maho would be really good. Akino wouldn't be. Anna wouldn't be. Io wouldn't be. That's only if you're thinking long term, because these characters, their position in the tier, or whatever you want to call it, ends up dropping, whereas Maho's stays way up there. Now let's take, for instance, your first 1-star characters. Your starting characters, Pecorine, Kokoro, and Carol. Now, Carol is actually really horrible DPS. She's really bad. Sad to say, don't spend any of your Divine Fragments on her. Now, Pecorine and Kokoro, they're actually easy to get in the hard mode, okay? But if you actually want to use some of those Divine Fragments to take them from like 1-star or 2-star, that's actually okay. Why is that? Well, in the long term, these characters are actually going to get 6-star treatments. Carol is too, but Carol's is kind of meh. But Kokoro and Pecorine, they end up getting a 6-star treatment way down the line. So if you want to spend Divine Fragments on them to push them forward a little bit, in the long game, that's actually going to be more beneficial than hurtful. Now, let's take Yukari. Yukari is one of those in the dungeon coins or whatever. She's an incredible character, especially long game. But does that mean that you spend fragments on her, the Divine Amulets? No, you do not do that. Absolutely not, because you'll get her to 5-star and then eventually 6-star when that mechanic comes into play really freaking easy. Yui taking to 2 stars, that one's a little iffy. I mean, if you really, really need heals, that's okay. I actually did that, kind of seeing if it was worth it, and meh, I'm not too sure that that was actually worth it. I'm going to say no. So that might have been a little bit of a waste on my part. But you really want to think long term. Like, take for instance, here's a special one, Hiyori. Okay, over on the JP side, years down the line, Hiyori gets a 6-star treatment and is one of the absolute best DPS in the entire game. She is hands down murdersome, if that's a word. I think I just made a new word. But in the short term, even all the way up to 5-star, he's kind of junk. She's kind of trash. It's not until special equipment 6-star comes into play. So would you use your Divine Amulets on her? My recommendation is no. Because it's going to be a really long time to get there, and plus you can get her memory shards in like one of the arenas. You got plenty of time to wait until you can get there. And I can go over like pretty much every other character, give my opinion and everything on it. But in all reality, this needs to be your guys' choice. You guys need to think the long game. That's first and foremost. Is this character going to be worth putting my Divine Amulets in? And then a few years down the line, am I going to still use this character? If you're thinking that long. If all you want is instant gratification, you're only going to play for a little bit and blow them on whatever the heck you want. Any of this is unimportant. If you're looking for that long game, though, you need to look forward. Like, for instance, Vegeta. Vegeta in the long term, yeah, she's still a decent character, but was she worth putting Divine Amulets in on? No. You got Monica here. In the short term, in global, right here, right now, yeah, she's a pretty good character. In the long term, she disappears into nothing. Not worth doing it. Chizuru, definitely not. Nozomi, you'll get her stuff in the dungeon. And all these other characters, like let's take Makoto. Makoto is arguably the best DPS right here, right now. She is freaking awesome. The only way you can get her memory shards is through clan battles. And clan battle shards are very rare. That, dare I say, even harder to get than the Divine Fragments. Divine Amulets. I keep mixing words, don't I? So if you wanted to use them on her to get her to 5-star, well, guess what? In the long term, she's still awesome. And the thing is, you're not going to be going through enough clan battles to get her to that point, regardless. So if you want to 5-star Makoto, you have to use Divine Amulets. I almost said Fragments again. Divine Amulets. All right. So I guess that's one character I could say go ahead and use them. But overall, the best advice that I can give you guys is look for the long term. Look long term. If you want to ask me in the comments, by all means, ask me down in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. 2, whatever you do, look these characters up for viability. They might be good in the short game, might not be in the long game. They might eventually be, good characters for PvP right now, but maybe more so PvE or vice versa later on. Research is key, but the last thing I give you advice on is your own needs, your own limitations, what characters you have, what characters you don't have, what's going to help you advance. So you need to kind of mix that up, and unfortunately, I can't give you personal advice on your account unless I knew what your account's all about. So you guys need to take a little bit of perspective on your own characters and make your own decisions. I guess another little tidbit I can throw out there is don't rely on some of these other guys that tell you it's like, use them on this character, use them on this character, use them on this character, use them on this character. Because everybody's account's different. Everybody's needs are a little bit different. So you guys need to tweak that. It's not cut and dry like some other guides and some other people are going to tell you. You need to be smart about it. You need to look at the long game, you need to look at your own account, and that's the best advice I can give you. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. Hopefully that helped out a little bit. I know it's a little ambiguous, but this is one of those situations where you guys need to do a little bit of your own research. And, you know, not everybody has all the answers for you. But do use them sparingly. Only use them when you absolutely have to. Or by some chance, maybe you whaled or something and you got a ridiculous amount of them. Then I guess you could spend them on your waifu, at least to a degree, right? That's all well and good. But otherwise, be smart, spend wisely. We'll see you in the next video.